Good morning. My name is Rebel and I'm the Rebel Reseller, and today I'm going to be featuring items that sold last week, the week of May 24th to the 30th. I got my little cheat sheet right here. Okay. It looked like eBay bounced back a little bit last week for me. Sales were what I consider back to normal, which is a good thing. So I was happy. I did a whole lot of sales both on eBay and Facebook. So just an intro about myself. I've been on eBay for 22 years. It is our primary income. I do cross list to Facebook. I was doing Mercari for a while, but I've kind of backed off, but I'll get back to it before fourth quarter. But right now I'm just really trying to build up my store on eBay. I think I'm about to hit 7,300 items listed. Like I've shown on many of the videos, I mostly sell stuffed animals, but I have recently been branching out into other things so that, you know, like they say, I don't have all my eggs in one basket. So let me go ahead and get this started and I'll go through the list of things I sold. All right, my first item that I wanted to share with you was actually, I ran one of those promotions that was buy 3 get an extra 10% off. I hadn't done that ever, so right away I made this sale. This person bought 3 stuffed animals and they paid $42 for the 3, and it was an international order, so their shipping was kind of high. Like I've said previously, I don't do free shipping ever, so it just works for me. I've tried it in the past to do free shipping, and I felt like I sold more, but I made less. So this works for me now. My next item was this bear plush, but it's the old kind, the carnival style that had the foam pellets in it, and it sold for $17.95. I'm pretty sure I picked that up at a Goodwill bins, so I would have paid by the pound, so about $1 probably. I picked these up at a yard sale. I actually picked up 3 Tupperware cups that had the little straw lids, and I paid 50 cents each, and this is the second one that sold, and it sold for $12 best offer. I featured this item in one of our Finders Keepers hauls that we did right at the beginning when I started this channel. We paid $1 for everything that we bought that day, and this sold for $11.66. These are the Disney fairy godmothers in the Sleeping Beauty movie. They're very little, about 2 inches. I picked them up at a yard sale in a bag of just miscellaneous Disney types toys. I think I paid $2 or $3 for the whole bag, and I split it up into different listings. But the thing I wanted to point out, sorry, on this is when you're listing these small things, don't forget to tell people that they could be used for cake toppers. I usually try to put that at the end of the listings. That way, if they're trying to do a special themed birthday cake, this might show up in the listings. And I sold these for a best offer of $14. I featured these a couple of weeks ago. I went to a church sale and I picked these up for $2, and I took a best offer of $25 for them. Oh, they are the Zumba toning sticks. Here's another multi-quantity order. This person ordered 2 Boyds. One was a dog and one was a bear. They paid $25 plus shipping. I love to pick up vintage Little People, and I try to put them in either individuals or small lots. There's an avid collector group for these type items, so if you see them, buy them, do your research, do your comps, and then list them, because they will definitely sell. I sold these for $13.45. This one was a surprise sale for me. I picked this up recently in one of our tote sales or something, but it was recent, and for some reason these large platypus looking plush do really well on eBay, and I listed this and sold it probably within the week, and I took a best offer of $67. I couldn't have paid more than $1 for it, so nice surprise. I picked this up. I've had this several times, and it always sells quickly for me. It's an Animal Adventure Flamingo plush. It's larger, 19 inches. I'm pretty sure I picked this up at a local thrift store when it was fill a bag for $10, and I sold this for $17.95. This is a newer type Little People figure from Fisher-Price. Usually I sell these individually because I like to cross-list them to Facebook. I've been doing a few small lots just for the lower dollar items, but this is from a harder to find play set, and I sold it for $13.45. I've talked about this brand. It's Miss Noah, and it has these very distinct eyes. I can spot them immediately. I picked this up, I'm pretty sure, at a thrift store or at the Goodwill bins. It's been a little while. I've had it listed, as you can see, since September, but it did sell finally, and I took a best offer of $75 for it. I featured this a couple of weeks ago, I believe. I stopped at a yard sale on my way home, and this was one of the items that was in the vintage toys that I picked up. And it's just a little Sanrio tin container, 4 inches tall, not very big, from 1990, and I took a best offer of $30. Christmas again. This is just some miniature figures I picked up. I'm pretty sure they were all in a bag for $1 at a yard sale. It's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and I sold them for $17.95. I featured this probably last week's haul. I went to a yard sale, and she just had a bag full of these vintage Tupperware gadgets, and I just spread them all out and listed them and took a best offer of $32. These, I don't know how I remember learning about these, probably from another YouTuber, but if you find these wicker type paper plate holders, you can get them at yard sales for $1 and $2 for a stack of them, and they're just very popular, especially now as the summer season's starting. And I sold them for best offer of $16. It was a set of 9. I sold this Dakin Monkey plush set. They're the huggers. I sold them for the $22.45, but the person who bought them needed them for some kind of special project, and she paid for overnight shipping. She contacted me before she purchased, and I added the overnight, and luckily it arrived on time, so I had a happy customer. But yeah, any of these old vintage plush, some of them do better than others as far as the Dakin hugging animals, but I'm sure I picked this up at the bins for about $1 or so. I featured this, I think, last week's haul. I went to a yard sale. I bought the beautiful cookie jar and a couple of other vintage things, but this was one of the items. It was just the Pyrex red mixing bowl, and I took a best offer of $25 for it. Paid $1. This is a brand I like to pick up. I think it's carried at Walmart. I'm not quite sure, but it's called Best Made Toys. I probably paid $1 or less at a yard sale, and I sold it for $17.95. This was another one of those buy 3 get extra 10% off, and she bought all of the Boyd Armed Forces character ornaments that I had left. I had already sold the Marine one, but she paid $34.98. I picked these up probably last summer, and it took a while. I think I sold them and they canceled, and I finally sold them again. But these were Gumby mix and match, kind of like Mr. Potato Head. You could add all these different facial features and stuff to them. But I had bought a bulk lot of Gumby, and I'm serious, I think this is the last one to sell. I paid like $25 for a large box of just Gumby from somebody's collection, and these sold for $20.66. My husband and I like to do some sourcing trips once in a while, and we had traveled out of town and came upon a whole bin full of these tea tins, and I've been listing them individually, and somebody bought the 2 tins for $25 plus shipping. These were by the pound, so I wouldn't have paid 10 cents for them because they're just little tins. Not all Build-A-Bear sells decently, but I like to buy the ones that just have different designs on them. This is a Build-A-Bear rabbit with flowers and polka dot ears, and she sold for $22.45. I picked this up at a churchyard sale several weeks ago. I paid $1 for it, and I took a best offer of $25.95. I picked up at a Goodwill bins 3 books that had Hawaii themes, and this is the last one. The first 2, I think I sold one for like $60 and another one for over $100, and then this is the last one, and I took a best offer of, I believe, $30. Yeah, $30. But yeah, if you see these books that have Hawaii themed characters on them, definitely check the comps. This is just something I picked up at a yard sale, probably for 50 cents. It's from Zootopia. Her name is Judy Hopps, and she sold for $13.45. I featured this a couple weeks ago in one of my hauls. I paid 50 cents for several Hallmark Christmas ornaments, and this one sold for $13.45. I bought a bag full of Lego Duplos, I think at a consignment sale, so I think I paid $5 or $8 for the bag, and I split it up into several listings, and this one just happened to have this little Indian figure, and so I couldn't have had very much in this listing, and I took a best offer of $16. I featured this probably last week. We went to a yard sale and everything was free, so I picked up 3 Wilton cake pans, and this is the second one to sell, and it sold for $13.45. Not all Wilton are good purchases, so definitely do your comps, but a lot of times if they have the little paper insert that shows you different ways that you can use the cake pan, I would definitely pick them up if they're cheap enough, and free is cheap enough. This was in the haul lot of when my husband went on a trip. This bear actually had a coat on that intrigued me more because it was a vintage doll coat, which I pulled off. And funny thing is, it's one of the first things to sell from his haul that he did for me. and it sold for $18.95, and the person actually sent me a message asking if I had any more. So who knows if I left, maybe it's more rare than I expected, but I'll take $18.95. This is just an example of another brass lot. This was like the bottom of a box of stuff that we had picked up. I think we paid $3 for a box that had a lot of brass in it. And these are all just little 4-inch to 6-inch vases that I threw together, and they sold for $26. These are Little Tikes waffle blocks. I picked up, I'm pretty sure, at a consignment sale. I think I paid about $5 for them, and I sold them for $35.95. All right, I need to stop for a minute. Okay, I'm back. I have the best mailman. He honks his horn when he gets here, and I take my packages out, and he scans them right in the driveway before he leaves. So, definitely appreciate him. All right, the next thing I have that I sold is a Fisher-Price Jigs. You see these at yard sales. Definitely pick them up. There are Fisher-Price ones, and then there's a newer series out that wasn't made by Fisher-Price. I don't know if one's better than the other, but I did sell this one for, oh, I lost my spot. Thingamajig, oh, $17.95. This is an Angry Birds plush. Some of them do really well, so you need to check. This one was supposed to have sounds, but it no longer worked. There's a little area at the top of their heads that you could push, so I just made sure that it said no sounds. But this one must be one of the rarer ones, and I did sell it for $17.95. This was my thrill for the week. Some might say I shouldn't have done what I did, but I had featured recently that I picked up a small tote of Legos for $5, and inside the tote were these minifigs and some blocks that looked like they went towards Star Wars vehicles and stuff, and then some Hero Factory and Technic pieces. So I divided them into 3 lots, and I had my stepson come down to look, and he said, "You realize you have a really rare Lego in here?" And he pointed out which one, which was Captain Rex, and it's this one right here on the end, the blue and white. So I thought, well, I really don't want to split this up and do singles, and I had already taken the pictures, and it was like, I'm just gonna let it go. And I started it at an auction at $79, and sold it Sunday night for $137.50. Probably the minifig is worth $90 to $100 by itself, but that's okay. I'm thrilled to take something from $5 to $137. All right, the last few things that I have here are Facebook sales. I am very happy with how it's going there. Not as many sales, but you know, they're selling quickly, and I only have to pay 5% fees. Here's another one of the Boyd's bears. Like I said before, I list everything on eBay first. I wait a few days for the most part, and then I start listing things on Facebook also. I don't want to run the chance that it sells on both platforms at the same time, so I give eBay first chance. And this is one of the Boyd's bears. I bought a whole lot. I think I originally said I paid $25 or $30, but I think I probably paid more like $30 to $40 for a whole box full of these. But I sold this one for $15. I sold another one too that was $15, so they're moving. This is a Mattel Little Kittles doll. She is 2 inches, very little. They have these distinct oversized heads, and I sold her for $10. I found a little baggie of vintage Barbie babies and her, and I split them all up. I think I paid 50 cents or $1 for the bag. My husband picked this up in his journey when he went to get his black belt test. It's sold for $10. I featured this a couple of weeks ago in a haul. I went to a yard sale, estate sale, and she had just a whole bunch of Halloween and Easter stuff. I picked this up, I believe it was $1, and I sold it on Facebook for $20. I talked about these recently. I picked them up. Mostly, I thought the box was unique that they were in, and I've said a lot of people, collectors, like to make displays out of vintage Christmas stuff. I knew these weren't all originally in this box because you can see there's several that are hanging over the edge here. But I did sell this for $36 on Facebook. I paid, I want to say, $1. This was in one of my recent hauls at the yard sale I stopped at on my way home after yard selling all day. It was filled with some doll furniture that I have listed separately, and there was a mirror in it that I've already sold, and I listed this for $45, and it sold on Facebook Marketplace, actually to a person who lives in the town next to me. But look for this vintage Care Bears stuff. It's still highly sought after and collectible. My husband picked up a huge tote of stuffed animals a couple of weeks ago, and there was a whole bunch of Monsters Inc. All of these kind of had some condition issues. You know, I put on there seems to have a lot of playwear, but I pulled a few out that I sold separately. In fact, the Randall that I featured in that haul sold today for over $36, but I lotted these all up and they sold for $27. I bought this recently at a Rotary Club sale that I went to. I paid $5 for it, and it sold almost immediately on Facebook for $21. And this last thing my husband picked up, I'm pretty sure at an estate sale we went to. Yeah, no, it was a closeout sale we went to. I think he paid $2 or $3 for it, and we sold it for $21. All right, so that's it. It's getting ready to be yard sale time again here. It's Wednesday. No, today's Thursday. But we have rain in the forecast for the next 2 days, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to get out and do some yard sales. But I'm gonna try to get some more stuff put in my vendor's booth this week. It's been picking up a little there for me. So have fun this weekend out treasure hunting. I'm hoping I'll at least find a good haul to share next week. Again, my name is Rebel, and I am the Rebel Reseller.